to the airport, it's pretty small, so I'm not that stressed, but on the way here I was really stressed, and like my stomach has been weird all morning. But we're about to get out, and then I'm just gonna check in, and then I'm off. Sister is dropping me off here, so I'm be all alone. I made it safely all on my own, and I feel like all the nerves going away because I was so stressed. It's been a few days since my first trip flying alone, and I've just been like processing everything that happened. It was a very stressful and nerve-wracking experience, but I am very honored and thankful that I had the experience because not a lot of 15-year-olds can say that they've flown on their own. If you are going to be flying alone sometime soon in the future, then I advise listening to this part. The morning before we left, I was really stressing and overthinking, and I just had a feeling I was going to forget something. So I made a list of things and steps that I have to go through at the airport that I have to do. Not that someone will forget to, go to TSA, because the steps, follow up after each other, but I made a list. You can make one similar. It honestly really helped me just to calm me down, but you can also make a list of items that you think would be important to remember that you have. Like if you're flying with your passport, if you need your passport. I didn't need my passport, I just needed ID, so I had my employment card. Those things you should remember just to check that you always have that, or your phone or your wallet, any of those things. I honestly didn't get to film that much in the airport or when I was walking around because I just really wanted to be aware of my surroundings, and that's another thing that I want to talk about. Like, it's really important to be aware of your surroundings when you're traveling alone, because that is a really easy target, especially as a young girl. And so I just advise not being on your phone a lot. Obviously, don't like freak yourself out and be like, oh my gosh, like is somebody looking at me? But just be aware and awake, and don't like be constantly looking around. Like if you're socially awkward or you just are more of an introvert person, then I totally get that, like just wanting to like, put my AirPods in, which you can still do. Most of the time when I was on the airport, I just had my AirPods in, because I didn't really want to be talking to people. But it was an overall really good experience. Everyone was really friendly. When I was in the TSA, a grandpa saw me and my sister hugging, and then he was behind me in the TSA, and he was like, that it's been such a long time since I've seen two sisters hug each other so tightly, and he was like, you guys must really love each other. And I was like, yes sir. And then he said that like he's been traveling so much, it's his, I think he said it was his 400th flight, but he made a joke and said his wife doesn't say goodbye to him anymore. I was just a really sweet person, but obviously like if strangers approach you and talk to you, probably don't talk to them back. But yeah, it was just a grandpa, and I could tell he had all good intentions. And when I was sitting at the boarding gate, he came up from the escalator and just smiled at me, and then he went to go sit at a different chair. So it was honestly just all good. The scariest thing for me was landing and then having to go get my suitcase at the baggage claim, because the airport that I was landing at was huge. It took me so long to get from the one point where we landed to the other point where the baggage claim is. It felt so long. Like I was walking out and I went past like a bunch of other gates and literally people boarding. I was like, bro, where am I? And then I went like past gift shops and restaurants. But the most important thing is just read the signs. Like everywhere you go, you'll see signs that say either baggage claim, terminal this, blah, blah, blah. I really just followed the baggage claim. And another thing that's great about airports there's always people that are ready to help you. There's always security. It's just really important not to be scared to ask for help, because I got lost looking for the baggage claim. I went past, there was these 5 sliding doors. They were glass sliding doors, and above I read the sign that said baggage claim, and the arrow pointed that way. And I was like, okay, that's so weird. Let me just go through here. And I literally go through there and I'm at a different TSA. And I was like, bro, where am I? Luckily, there was a guy working there who had the little like help thing on his shirt, and I was like, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I am really lost. I have no idea where the baggage claim was. And it turned out it was like around the corner behind a pillar and then down the escalator. I found the baggage claim, and I think Jesus was really looking out for me, because once I went down there, I saw another guy that was working there taking my suitcase off the carousel for me, and I went up to him and I was like, thank you so much, sir. Like, you just made my job so much easier, because the case was extremely heavy. And I was already worrying and stressing to think, how in the world am I gonna take that suitcase off all by my own? Because as you can tell, your girl does not work out regularly. Yeah, so I got my suitcase, and then I just called my mom and told her like, I'm over here at this pickup, and then she came and we reunited, and then yeah. So that was basically it. It's really not that scary as it seems. Obviously, this was not an international flight. Those are very different. I don't know if I could do that on my own, but this was just, you know, one state to another state. I hope that kind of cleared up like my experience and what you could expect if you are going to be flying alone. But yeah, overall it wasn't that bad of an experience. I just think I was really nervous in the beginning, because I remember waking up and my stomach had like that nauseous feeling. I don't know if any of y'all ever get that feeling, but it is the worst, and I like felt like I had to go to the toilet so much. Another tip that I just remembered is rather be early than too late. We were there like probably an hour early. It really calms you down if you're a little bit earlier, because once you're through TSA and you know where your gate is, you can go get coffee, you can chill, you can listen to music, you can scroll on Instagram. Try to leave earlier than what you would have left, because it just gives you enough time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you in some way, but thank you also just for listening. I love you all.